Greetings, Hermes Press fans. Dan Herman, publisher of Hermes Press, with our new book, Johnny Hazard Volume 6. Obviously, we've published 5 volumes of Johnny Hazard rather slowly because we're using press proofs now, but we're using an amalgam of press proofs and tear sheets in order to bring you the complete Johnny Hazard. This is just like the other books in that we have a dust jacket, front and back cover. We have a printed laminated cover, which is the same cover, rather nice, so you can protect it. This book has a number of continuities in it. It has 6 continuities. The Most Beautiful Women Alive, London Bridges Falling Down, Watch the Birdie, One on the Half Shell, It's an Art, and Roman Circus. The continuities progress, the characters progress. You have a number of femme fatales. We have an interesting introduction to this book, which talks about how Frank Robbins, later in his career, worked for DC Comics, doing such titles as The Shadow and Batman. We have original art from all of these strips, comic book titles in the essay, and then we get down to the stories themselves. There is a number of very attractive femme fatales in this particular continuity. There's one of them, kind of looks like the Dragon Lady. His style develops and gets more concise, cleaner. He's found his identity as an artist. The work in this book is very, very attractive. The stories are, as I've said previously, really fine B-movie, Moorish, with humor, action punctuated with humor, punctuated with him being a classic film noir character. Lots of adventure, lots of action. Very, very, very good stories. Here's some more examples of the art in the book. See if we get that going there. All in all, one of the most perfect books we've come out with from the Johnny Hazard strip. The reason for that is, and a big shout out to Randy Scott at Michigan State University Special Collections. We've been using the press proofs as well as tear sheets because King Features decided to deaccession all of their hard copies of their proofs. They gave a set to Ohio State University and a set to Michigan State. Since I'm an alumnus of Michigan State University, obviously my preference is to go down to East Lansing. Nothing wrong with Ohio State. We get things from their special collections as well. As a matter of fact, with our new Dark Shadows complete comic strip reprint, the fine folks at Ohio State were kind enough to let us complete the Sunday continuities because we had about a dozen strips missing, and they came up with them on an unrelated note. However, this book uses all of the press proofs from Michigan State's collection, and quite frankly, they're perfect. Now, they have to be photoshopped and they have to be cleaned up, and a number of things have to be done by Alyssa Fisher. And Alyssa Fisher is the graphic designer at Hermes Press, whose one specialty project is Johnny Hazard. She loves Johnny Hazard. Now, she works on everything, but Johnny Hazard is her specific thing. She loves the strip. She loves Frank Robbins, and she does a phenomenal job. So if anybody wants to give credit where credit is due for the absolutely spot-on look of each one of these strips, it has to go to her. Cover is nice. We know it's politically incorrect. Johnny Hazard is smoking a cigarette. But that's what they did in film noir, and that's what they did in the 40s and 50s. These strips run from 1952 to 1954. So this is volume number 6. We'll have another volume coming out, and people have asked, what about the Sundays? Well, we have most of the Sundays, but we're reproducing them from the tear sheets as there are no color press proofs. We have black and white ones, but not color ones. And we're missing about 6 of them. And we don't want to digitally recolor the black and white ones. We actually want to find the tear sheets. And I think Ohio State has them, and I think ultimately we'll get them and complete the book. That'll be another book that'll be an archival book in that it will reproduce the tabloids. This was done as a tabloid originally. That is, the Johnny Hazard Sundays were done as tabs. It will reproduce them in full size on a wood-free paper, as we did with the Phantom Archive, and we've done with several other books where they seek to reproduce the artwork or the tear sheets as they would have. This book, Johnny Hazard, reproduces these strips more like press proofs. Press proofs were done on a coated stock paper and had a great deal of jet black in them. A lot of people say that we're not reproducing these things accurately because they don't have gray tone. There was no gray tone in the press proofs. They're simply black and white. They were shot off the originals. This book and the Johnny Hazard books that we're doing, if anything, resemble the actual press proofs. They look like the King Features press proofs, and without being repetitive, they were not printed on a wood-free paper. They were printed on a more or less a slightly off-gloss coated stock paper. So if you were to take the press proofs, which we have scanned, and you were to compare them to, for instance, these strips, they look exactly the same. There's no loss in image. And for those of you who are interested and who have commented, each one of these strips is scanned in at full size at 600 dots per inch on our Epson 10,000X, whatever it is, XL graphic design scanner. So you can't get any better reproduction than that. You don't have to color correct these things because they're scanned in grayscale. And then they're compared to the originals. So there you have it, Johnny Hazard Volume 6. This is an advance. The books will be available in 3 or 4 weeks through Diamond. They'll be available on Amazon.com. They'll be available at your comic book store, at your bookstore, or if you want, you can buy them from Hermes Press through our website, which is a good deal because we'll give you a discount. And the other thing that's neat about buying books from Hermes Press is you get them before anybody else in the world does, because when the shipment comes in, we ship out your books immediately, whereas with Diamond, which would distribute the book to Amazon.com or your local comic book store, the books have to go from our warehouse here in Newcastle, Pennsylvania to Olive Branch, Mississippi, which is where Diamond has its warehouse, at which point they have to be reshipped to all the various places that have ordered them, including Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble or whoever orders them. So that being said, that's another Hermes Press title. Just for those people that are interested, the Phantom Sundays Volume 4 has been printed. I should have an advance of that within the next couple of weeks, and I'll be doing another one of these previews so you can see Volume 4 of Hermes Press's Complete The Phantom Sundays reprints. That's all for now. Any questions, just email me, Daniel@HermesPress.com, or email info@HermesPress.com. We'll get right back to you. Bye-bye for now.